You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the Sledging Room. What a historic week this has been for Indian sports. First off, Pragnananda
Yes.
reaching the World Cup, the Chess World Cup. Of course, he lost to Magnus Carlsen.
In the
Uh,
final.
I mean, no shame there at all.
Yes.
This is a huge achievement. To put into context, Pragnananda was just the second Indian to make it to the final of the Chess World Cup, the youngest ever. Still a teenager. Look at his achievement, his graph of achievements over the last year and a few months. And you'd be wondering, what? Is he just a teenager still? And then, of course, Neeraj Chopra. No surprises there. I mean, Neeraj Chopra is arguably among India's greatest athletes. He has to be ranked among the greatest athletes in the world. He's completed that javelin set 2 years after that historic Olympic gold. Neeraj Chopra became the first Indian to win a gold medal at the World Athletics Championships. And what a performance that was. Remember when we were covering the qualifying rounds, Neeraj just comes in, first throw, seals his spot in the final, seals a Paris Olympic berth, and while the others struggled to catch up anywhere near Neeraj Chopra, of course, Arshad Nadeem from Pakistan winning silver, and Yakov Valdij from he again. I mean, we were talking about Neeraj and Arshad getting gold and silver because that was that at Jordan Valdij, of course, getting the bronze medal. But Akshay, questions will now be asked of the Indian cricket team.
You know, when you were talking
Valdij
about-
won bronze, Arshad silver, Neeraj Chopra gold. Neeraj Chopra gold being the operative word. And javelin is, of course, this is the World Athletics Championships. So many countries, so many participants. And Neeraj was head and shoulder above the rest. First, we'll have to, agree to disagree that he is now in Sachin Tendulkar league already. Neeraj is just 25. By the time he gets to the Paris Olympics, he'll be 26 or thereabouts. Questions will now have to be asked of this Indian cricket team. Now you'll ask me, why are you comparing them?
No. I get where you're coming from because we have won a lot of world meet medals. Now there's a World Cup coming.
Yeah.
Will the Indian cricket team replicate the success of whatever?
Because of all the love
Yes.
and the passion for Indian cricket in this country, right?
Yeah.
It's oft repeated.
Yeah.
You won an ICC event 10 years back. You qualified for a few finals, the 2017 Champions Trophy, before the 2014 T20 World Cup, both the WTC finals. But you have been very ordinary in limited overs cricket over the last couple of years. There's no denying that. Since 2019, one-day cricket has evolved. Indian cricket hasn't kept pace. And now, other sports are coming up. I mean, Prannoy, for instance.
Yes.
We should also talk about his bronze medal. No mean achievement that. And here you are looking at Indian cricket, which is the biggest sport in this country.
Yeah.
And we have come to a point now where you are rightfully, justifiably celebrating every other achievement, right?
Yeah.
But for all the passion and the commitment, where is an ICC trophy?
But we do have an ICC trophy, Raj. Drifting aside from the main topic that we are discussing here, don't you think MS Dhoni and Chennai Super Kings won the World Championships of cricket?
Are you referring to Noah Light and their controversy
Yes.
there?
See, what I'm referring to is Noah Lyles, after winning the 100-meter gold, 200-meter gold in the World Athletics Championships, questioned the NBA asking, "What are you the World Champions of?"
No, but it is the NBA's fault. I mean, they're
How?
going,
Yeah.
and was right. The NBA
Yes.
claimed, and this is not an old debate, by the way.
Yes.
The greatest in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, and what was the NBA's argument?
As in, the NBA is saying that there are players from every part of the world playing in the NBA.
So the IPL is bigger than the T20 World Cup.
Exactly. But for Indian cricket, it might seem so.
Come on,
What do you think?
what's with your
Yeah.
underhand jibes today?
But yeah, Raj, coming back to Indian cricket and the build up to the Asia Cup and the World Cup, Raj, you were talking about prodigies, right? You were talking about Pragnananda and young Neeraj Chopra achieving so much. Let's talk about the ever talented KL Rahul. What has happened to him?
I'll put this into perspective with all of Noah Lyle's
Yes.
controversy and not controversy. Fine, this is
Yeah.
in fact Noah Lyle's
cheeky
NBA has
dig,
been trending everywhere.
Exactly.
Over the last several hours, it wasn't a cheeky dig. It was
Just a
it was brutal.
frustration, I think.
A brutal takedown. I think. What? It's like, I have won these two world events.
For those listening, NBA winners are called the world champions. World champions. Yeah. So
I'm sorry. I'll take a couple of minutes to just digest that fact again. I again, this is not a new debate, by the way.
yes, exactly.
Noah Lyles has just joined in.
Yeah.
He was visibly frustrated. I mean, he said that with a hint of laughter, but he's like, "What world champion?"
He said, "We are the world champions."
We are the world champions. So, drawing parallels from there, it's almost like Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings are the world champions of T20 cricket. Yeah, that's not how it works. I mean, they could be among the best T20 teams in the world. There's no arguing that. But can you call them world champions? Definitely not. I mean,
But I think the Indian team would like that tag. Would they not?
no. I think they're so focused on the Asia Cup and the World Cup that they named a player who wasn't fully fit. Now you have to say that, right? And we discussed that on the Sledging Room in the last week. What did we say? We said, why KL Rahul?
Exactly.
We raised questions on KL Rahul.
Yeah.
We raised questions on his fitness. We raised questions on his form. I mean, you haven't played cricket for so many months. So where is your form? And look what's happened now. Rahul Dravid addressing the press, addressing the media a day before India's departure for Sri Lanka for the Asia Cup said KL Rahul is not going to play the first two matches of the Asia Cup. So he's not playing against Pakistan. He's not playing against Nepal. Anyway, they would have had to take a call on KL Rahul's inclusion alongside Shreyas Iyer's inclusion for the World Cup. Basis just one international match.
Yes.
The World Cup squad is most probably going to be named on the 3rd of September.
Yes.
Now you playing Pakistan on the 2nd, Nepal on the 4th of September. So does KL Rahul get into the World Cup team now without any international cricket for so many months? Shreyas Iyer's first international stint will be the Asia Cup after his appearances in February.
Yeah.
So
But
preparation.
even now, it has not been revealed what niggle KL Rahul has had. He recovered from a thigh injury.
Yeah.
He underwent surgery, I think, in London, and then he returned to NCA to train to work on his recovery. And on the day of the squad announcement, Chief Selector Ajit Agarkar says that he has a fresh niggle, which is unrelated to that previous injury. What is that niggle? And on top of that, Rahul Dravid in Tuesday's press conference said that we are hoping that it will only be 2 matches and not more than that.
Yeah.
We are hoping. And if he was okay, he was close to being match fit, he should have travelled with the team, right? He's not travelling with the team. He's going to play a couple of simulation matches at the NCA and he's going to be overlooked by the NCA physios. And they will reassess his fitness on September 4th. So what does all this,
Here is my problem, Akshay.
Yeah.
When the selectors announced the squad for the Asia Cup, and the chief selector Ajit Agarkar and the captain Rohit Sharma addressed the press, and they very vehemently said that obviously it's a no-brainer. The World Cup squad will be based around these players.
17 plus 1.
17 plus a travelling standby, whatever that means, even now. Now, here is this, nagging question. It's been eating me away for a few days. And a lot of you might argue, this guy needs a life to get to actually worry about something else. But here is my problem, because I'm so passionate about Indian cricket. KL Rahul comes back from an injury after surgery and all of that, right? Plays intra-squad matches at the NCA. The chief selector announces a niggle to the media.
Yeah.
Would he have done that had they not been overtly concerned anyway?
Exactly.
I mean, the announcement was very casual. Yes, he has a niggle, but he has a niggle. Would they have mentioned it had it not been a little extreme?
Yeah.
8 days later, the India coach says KL Rahul is not even travelling to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So if it was a minor niggle,
Yeah.
why would he not travel?
Exactly.
So we don't really know whether it's a recurrence of that injury and why did you still take chances. Look at New Zealand. Kane Williamson has been given an additional 2 weeks to prove his fitness. We don't know what's going on with that. Maybe he won't even be named in the professional squad. They will obviously be able to pull him in by the 27th or 28th of September when the final deadline arrives for the World Cup squads. Why this desperation?
And also, even that 6-day preparatory camp,
Yeah.
which India had in Alur near Bangalore.
He was keeping wickets.
He was keeping wickets. He was also seen batting for an hour. That is what the official broadcaster said.
Yeah.
And that was a closed door practice session. Why would you have a closed door practice session? I don't know. There are so many questions to be answered. As in, even after that 6-day practice camp, where KL Rahul apparently batted, as in we saw visuals of it from the official broadcaster. We saw him doing some light wicket keeping drills. But then he's not going. And you're saying that he's not even going to travel with the team.
Yeah.
So what kind of injury is that? Whether he'll be fit for the next round of Asia Cup if India qualify to the Super 4. And on September 3rd or around September 3rd, you're going to name your World Cup squad. If you were the selector, will you pick KL Rahul in your World Cup squad now?
The problem is, if I'm the selector, I might have to eventually give in to what the coach and the captain want. But that is why you have a strong chief selector.
Yeah.
I would like to think Ajit Agarkar is no pushover. I'm not suggesting that some of the other chief selectors were, but if when you talk to people around you, you just figure out why a particular player has been given such a long rope. The same questions of KL Rahul. His fitness has been a concern because of that injury he pulled up during an IPL match.
Yeah.
He went to Europe to get that surgery. The most disconcerting part for me is that neither Shreyas nor KL played any international cricket before being drafted into the Asia Cup squad. Now you could argue and say that, look, a few Asia Cup matches, 3-match series against Australia, that should be a level of preparation before the World Cup. But would you rather not have informed fit players playing these preparatory rounds? I mean, look at some of your big stalwarts. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli haven't played ODI cricket for 6 months before the World Cup? Yeah. And now they're going to play this format a few weeks before, 3 or 4 weeks before the World Cup.
Got a couple of deliveries to face in that first ODI in West Indies.
At least, would you count that as practice? Virat didn't even bat and then they didn't play the next 2 ODIs. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Your World Cup preparation should have spanned 2 years.
Like I am reminded of Krishnamachari Srikanth, one of the former captains and former chief selector. He, in his YouTube show last week, said that, if I were the selector, I wouldn't pick a player who's not fit on the selection day.
Yeah.
And he also cited an example of VVS Lakshman in that Rohit Sharma's test debut, where VVS unfortunately got injured and then they tried to draft Rohit Sharma in. And Rohit Sharma had an injury while playing football ahead of the match.
Twisted his ankle.
And eventually Vridhiman Saha made that day. And after that selection committee headed by Chris Srikanth decided that we are not going to take chances if a player is unfit on the selection day, not on the match day. If the player is unfit on the selection day, we are not going to consider him for that particular series. That is how things worked.
And it's worked. That's how things work for other teams as well. Yeah. Point in reference, Jofra Archer.
Yes.
Point in reference, Kane Williamson. Yeah. These guys are not in the team.
But who is Kane Williamson? Who is Jofra Archer when you compare them with KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer?
Yeah. Because you don't have any other numbers 4 and 5. Also, that brings us to what Rahul Dravid said.
Exactly. Yeah.
He said, we knew 18 months back who our numbers 4, 5 and 6 were going to be.
Yeah.
Now, I have 2 problems with that statement. How could you be so sure 18 months back? Yeah. How much of what did KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant do to give you that level of confidence a year and a half before the World Cup? Third is, Shreyas Iyer, fine, he's played some good knocks here and there. But has he been ultra confident, ultra consistent to really cement his place 18 months before the World Cup? Right? That's number 4 is, where is your backup? Because you're literally so proud of your bench strength. Where is the bench strength? You said we've tried several options, but why have they not succeeded and why haven't people been given more consistent roles? Now you see a lot of the cricket fraternity, admittedly not from the Indian camp, talking about Virat Kohli playing at number 4. On the basis of evidence of what we've seen in the past, maybe the team management will buckle down to some really serious voices asking Virat Kohli to bat at number 4. Why didn't they do that earlier? If Virat Kohli bats at number 4 the Asia Cup, and now this is going to be a strong possibility. With KL Rahul not playing, you play Ishan Kishan. Will you play Ishan Kishan at number 4 or number 5? He'd have to open.
He has struggled at those spots
Exactly.
earlier this year.
And he has done well as an opener. He got that double hundred against Bangladesh.
And then the very reason that he struggled after that double hundred in a couple
Because
of matches,
he was shunted down the
because
order.
he was shunted down the order, and he was given back the opening spot in the West Indies series.
3
and
half
hit
centuries.
3 half centuries.
So
Now, if you ask him to bat in the middle order, I don't have
it just defies logic. So which means you're pushing Ishan Kishan up the order to open the batting. Alongside who? It's either Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, obviously. Now, if he opens with Rohit Sharma, now Rohit Sharma, categorically, I think he, through his press conference, he said, "Hum pagalpan nahi karte hain. The opener can't go down to number 7 or 8."
But
the new guys have to come in and basically shift around, right? So I'm not quoting Rohit verbatim, but I think that was the crux of what he said, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Now, which means, if you're going by what the captain has said already, Ishan opens with Rohit Sharma. So Virat Kohli can't give up his number 3 because he's been so successful. Not that he cannot bat at number 4. He has reasonably good numbers at number 4 too. So Shubman Gill will now move down to number 4.
But Shubman Gill, do you think Shubman Gill can't do that? At the Under-19 World Cup, I don't think
he batted at number 3.
Yeah.
That was Shubman Gill's
Best
primary
spot,
position.
Yeah.
That 100 against Pakistan in the semi-finals of the Under-19 World Cup came at number 3. So, or would you look at it the other way around and see, let the seniors take up certain responsibilities. Even if Rohit Sharma wants to open, maybe Virat Kohli takes a step back and bats at number 4.
You sacked him as ODI captain a couple of years ago.
And now
you were not able to sort out this number 4 mess.
Yeah.
And now you want Virat Kohli to give up the best position, arguably the best ODI batter, to give up his best spot and go to number 4. Where at the top of the order, you will say, Pagalpanti nahi karungi, wo karungi.
No, but who is the greatest batter of all time across formats, Test cricket and One Day cricket?
In this current era or?
No, ever.
Sachin Tendulkar.
And so, obviously, he never batted at number 4. And down from an opener. I'm just saying, I'm putting things into perspective with this generation of cricketers and those previous generations, because nobody asks these questions. And Tendulkar moved down to number 4. Saurav Ganguly sacrificed his batting position. Yeah. But
what is the solution, Raj? What do you think will happen?
I think that's what's going to happen. I think to begin with, Ishan Kishan might be asked to bat in the middle order,
which will
be very, very troublesome for me. That totally exposes your middle order, wafer thin. Shreyas Iyer coming back from an injury, no match practice. Forget the intra-squad cricket there. Virat Kohli not in the best of form. Rohit Sharma clearly struggling. You've had your batters. Your batters are not in good form at all. There's no confidence. And this is what Krish Trikan said as well, right? I mean, you look at the potency of the Pakistani pace attack.
Yeah.
You've also struggled against spin.
Yes.
So those are concerns.
Can you find another type of bowler who's not a spinner and who's not a fast bowler to bowl against the Indian batters?
Medium paces.
But actually, that's not might be a good idea, right? Ishan Kishan open the batting.
Yeah.
Because we have, like Srikanth pointed out, we have struggled against the moving ball in the first few overs. Like we saw that at the 2017 Champions Trophy against a similar Pakistan side, which had a Mohammad Amir instead of Shaheen Afridi. Shaheen Afridi, I believe, is an upgrade of that Mohammad Amir.
Yeah.
And we struggled in the 2019 World Cup semi-final. That half an hour of mishap that happened, that is being pointed fingers for the failure of the team. So, would it not be good enough to have a left-right combination at the top?
Akshay, at the end of the day, the top order will have to take that responsibility. Say the top 5, say, no matter who bats where.
Yeah.
Say Ishan opens with Rohit, Shubman bats at number 3, Virat Kohli bats at number 4. That would be ideal for me. You and I, of course, not going to be part of the team management, but common sense would probably say that, yes, let Virat drop down to number 4 to give that middle order some solidity.
But I don't think Virat would say no to that. He has taken a few calls.
Yeah, there's no evidence to suggest he would say no. He has, in fact, yes. Credit where due, he has. Even when he was captain, he let others bat at number 3 so that they would get more exposure. Not on a consistent, not really consistently, but that's also okay because he's delivered those results at number 3 consistently for so many years. Now the other school of thought is, or if I were to contradict myself and play the devil's advocate, I'd say, look, this is the World Cup, this is the Asia Cup. You're talking about the best number 3 batter ever in one-day cricket, one of the greatest one-day batters ever. Will you really take him out of his comfort zone? For no fault of his. Because you haven't been able to find any sort of replacements. And I don't buy Dravid's logic of how they had consolidated number 4, 5 and 6 18 months back.
Precisely, that was the question.
What did Rishabh Pant do in one-day cricket 18 months back? Apart from that 100 in England, in that series decider, what has Rishabh Pant done to even cement his place in the one-day format? KL Rahul, fine, he's played some good knocks in the middle order, but has he given you that sense of assuredness?
And is that the amount of resources that you have? It's actually baffling to say that you fixated on someone. And for instance, in that Border Gavaskar trophy in Brisbane, that historic Gaba win, you did not have one of your star players, right? You did not have a Virat Kohli, you did not have a Mohammad Shami, you did not have a Jasprit Bumrah, you did not have an R. Ashwin. But you still went on to beat arguably the best test team on their den, creating history
the
in
best
that
bowling.
test match.
You
The best bowling attack,
overcame the best pace bowling lineup of this era.
And now
The best all-round bowling lineup. I mean, Nathan Lyon,
and
Pat Cummins,
played
Mitchell
for
Stark,
India?
Josh Hazelwood.
Mohammad Siraj playing his first series. Washington Sundar playing
Navdeep
his first
Saini,
series.
Shardul
Navdeep
Thakur.
Saini, Shardul Thakur, T. Natarajan making his debut.
The bowlers, the Indian bowling lineup in Brisbane had a net test experience of 4 or 5 matches, or maybe even lesser.
And
Shardul had played a test match against the West Indies earlier. Siraj was in his first series. Saini, was he making his debut in that match?
T. Natarajan made his debut.
T. Natarajan made his debut, yes. Saini had played a couple of matches before that. And then you had Washington Sundar making his debut in Test cricket.
To say that you are fixated on 18 players before, 18 months before the World Cup, it makes us look as if we don't have backups, right?
No, but the coach is saying what? He's saying that, look, when you ask these questions, it makes us look like we don't know what we're doing.
Exactly.
So, 18 months back, you were so sure. Again, to come back to that one question I often keep referring to, did the injuries to the numbers 4, 5 and 6 batters happen overnight?
Shreyas Iyer before the IPL.
Rishabh Pant, December 30th.
Shreyas
Iyer
March.
before the IPL in February.
February, yes.
KL Rahul during the IPL, right? Even with KL Rahul, you've had 6-7 months. Okay, maybe you didn't have too many one-day games to go back to, but then that should have been your backup. You should have had a few backups. But for Rishabh Pant, again, to say that you were so sure about Rishabh Pant in the World Cup, I'm sorry, but he's been a phenomenal Test cricketer so far in his young career. But Rishabh Pant hasn't done anything marvelous, or he hasn't quite set the stage on fire in one-day cricket. Even in T20 internationals for India, he hasn't quite done that. Test cricket, again, no arguing there. But then that's what we tend to do. We get fixated with one format, and then we expect that player to carry his form onto another. Same with KL Rahul. He's had a few decent outings here and there in the middle order, but has it been consistent enough? Same with Shreyas Iyer. He was in very good form against South Africa at home last year. He's played some handy knocks. But to say that, I find that a little troubling.
Let me play the devil's advocate once, Raj.
Yeah.
Would it also not be unfair on KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer to not give them an opportunity after having done decently well to just try out how they are, whether they can get the job done at the World Cup? So
Harry Brook has been phenomenal as a Test cricketer for England, right? Superb Test cricketer over the last year. His debut in Pakistan, then of course in the Ashes at home, he's been brilliant. And look at the strike rate. The strike rate that Harry Brook scores in Test cricket, some of your batters can't even do that in one-day cricket. He's still not part of the England World Cup side. The other argument is he's played only 3 matches in one-day cricket. One of them is an 80 not out or thereabout, right? He's not part of the World Cup squad because they wanted Ben Stokes back. So it's not about being fair or unfair to individual players. It's about doing what is best for the team. Are you doing what's best for the team in this setup? Because you should have looked at someone like Sanju Samson more consistently in one-day cricket for the last 2 years, because you could not have been fixated with Rishabh Pant as your one-day wicketkeeper because he hadn't done that much. Please dig up Rishabh Pant's one-day numbers.
And also, you gave around 26, 27 ODIs to Surya Kumar Yadav,
Yeah.
despite knowing that he was not able to translate his T20.
Now nobody's
form into
talking about
ODIs.
Surya Kumar Yadav in the one-day lineup.
But yeah, exactly. But that opportunity you could have given to someone like Rahul Tripathi. I am sure that he was named in a couple of ODI series squads,
Yeah.
but he did not get an opportunity. Now you can't even say that they were not even brave enough with testing out backups. Surya Kumar
No.
Yadav was given an extended run for what?
Your backups were warming the bench.
Yeah.
Rahul Tripathi went to what? Zimbabwe?
Yes.
How many games did he get?
I don't think he got a game.
Sanju Samson,
Yes.
in, out. But again, with Sanju Samson, I'm always
Yeah.
a little confused. Has he made good use of the opportunities he's had? But then I go back to that innings against South Africa last year. He almost pulled off a miraculous victory for India. So I would have rather had him in the middle order somewhere.
If you have been having KL Rahul, who started out with Joe Root. Joe Root is now a proper legend of the game.
Yeah.
KL Rahul, to be fair, hasn't been able to lap up the opportunities across formats.
You can pick out certain innings here and there.
Yes.
Test cricket,
So
maybe
with
he
Sanju
played that
Samson,
100.
you can do the same, right? You can back a player.
But
If you
not
can
all
back
players.
KL Rahul,
Not all players get that level of backing. That is the truth about the Indian cricket team. Not all players get that level of backing. You look at KL Rahul. Yes, you'll point out that 100 in England.
Yes.
That 100 in South Africa. Some good knocks here and there in the middle order. But apart from that, not much.
Yeah.
Again, I'll come back to Rishabh Pant. If the coach said they were so sure about that lineup 18 months back, you were struggling to figure out how and where. Which means you kind of sealed that World Cup position in England and said, okay, you know what, Rishabh Pant now can bat and score 100. We'll see. Consequently, you never quite... If you're building a successful World Cup side, you want to look at specific backup options, or you go and dig out certain players from your resources. You also want your top order to be in good form. Your top order has been in very, very poor form across formats for the last 2 years.
Two contrasting press conferences over the last few days.
Yeah.
New Zealand head coach Gary Stead, he said that we are going to give a player like Kane Williamson 2 weeks' time to prove his fitness.
Yeah.
Whereas this press conference reflected how desperate the Indian team is, right? Rahul Dravid's press conference on Tuesday. So, if you're going to win championships, you need to be bold and not desperate, is what I believe.
You have to also have your main players in form and give them enough opportunities to be in form. You can't be in form by sitting out series. You can't be in form by sitting out matches. I think this T20 series in the West Indies was also the perfect opportunity for all of India's first choice ODI players for the Asia Cup and the World Cup to play.
At this stage, I
Get
want
match
to
time.
ask you one question, Raj. You have been talking about this off-air for quite some time. Are we missing the point that Virat and Rohit are not in their best forms?
We are.
At the 2019 World Cup, our middle order had problems. Yes, our middle order had problems. But Virat and Rohit were at the peak of their careers, peak of their prowess.
Yeah.
In this World Cup, you don't have a Rohit Sharma, barring that 100. I don't know when he looked comfortable in the middle.
Yeah.
Virat, hundreds, but hundreds against relatively weaker bowling attacks and failures against stronger opponents. So, is that a concern that India should be more worried about?
Of course, they should be worried about that. And I've said that on the podcast as well. You go back to the 2011 build-up.
Yeah.
You look at the form of the top order. Virendra Sehwag, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Suresh Raina, lower down the order, Yuvraj Singh and MS Dhoni. The top six was in super form. Yusuf Pathan, of course, got injured in that opening game against Bangladesh in Dhaka. But he had announced himself with a superb knock in South Africa months before the World Cup. So that's how prepared you were. And you had so many bowling options in the top order to go with the top 4 or 5 first choice bowling options. Here, you obviously have concerns. Now you can talk about 2020 being a pandemic year. Say that your build-up was affected, but what about the other teams? Look at England's composition, by the way. Look at England's composition. Look at Australia's composition. Australia didn't look as threatening in 2019, and you could somehow sense, for the first time since I've I started following World Cups, you could sense that, maybe this Australian team is not going to win the World Cup. Even in 2011, you could sense that they might just pull off something special and defend their title. Even in 2015, there was no question. You knew Australia were going to win the World Cup. 2019 was the only year. Again, now come to 2023, you will have to count Australia among the favourites. You will have to count England as favourites to defend the
South
title.
African side who are looking.
Don't underestimate South Africa.
Yeah.
Do not underestimate South Africa. Pakistan.
Yeah.
They have issues, major issues with their middle order.
Yeah.
Major issues. They're still waiting for Rizwan to start scoring some runs. But maybe they rely on the top three to do the job, and then they have that kind of pace attack with Shaheen Afridi, Naseem Shah, Harris-Toff, and they've been playing consistently. They played the 100. They came back, joined the series against Afghanistan, and then they've been in full steam.
All-round options.
All-round options. Look at
Nawaz, Shadab.
Look at Mohammad Nawaz and Shadab Khan.
Yeah.
You have that level of option. You have that kind of options. You look at a team like Bangladesh, by the way.
Yeah.
You look at a team like Bangladesh. Then you have Afghanistan. They have their spinners, all of them in good form, fit, ready to go. Your middle order is a problem. It was a problem, like you pointed out in 2019. Rohit and Virat, we've spoken about how they are not in form.
Yeah.
They're nowhere in form. Rohit Sharma said, I would like to go back to the mindset of 2019. Okay, great. If you can go back to that mindset, give us another 500s, bring the World Cup home, fantastic. Even your bowlers, by the way, your first choice bowlers haven't played for so many months. Prasidh Krishna and Jasprit Bumrah freshened up in Ireland. My other concern is you will not even be able to play your first choice bowlers because you don't trust your batting enough.
Pakistan, for instance, are playing Naseem Shah, Shaheen, and Harris-Toff.
Yeah.
3 out-and-out pacers. Can you do that in your playing 11?
You can,
But
provided.
at the cost of...
I mean,
That's how the team management thinks, right? They need batting until number 9, number 8.
That's why Akshar Patel is in that side, right?
Yeah.
If I were to call out the playing 11 for the Indian team, I would obviously, irrespective of where Virat bats, Rohit, Shubman, Virat, Shreyas Iyer. If KL Rahul is fit, there goes your top 5. Not a single bowler up there. At least you have a wicket keeper, perhaps.
Rohit and Virat have said that they will roll their arm.
It's good if the captain thinks he can be funny before the World Cup with this level of preparation without us having won any titles. And with the countries desperately waiting for, a major cricketing achievement. And then you go to Hardik Pandya at number 6. You have Ravindra Jadeja at number 7. That leaves you with 4 bowling options. You got to have Kuldeep Yadav somewhere, 8. And then you have your 3 pacers. So you can do that. But out and out pacers, then does that leave Shardul Thakur out of the equation? Yeah. Shardul Thakur and Siraj have been among your best bowlers since the 2019 World Cup.
Can you play Shami, Siraj and Bumrah in that 11 together?
If the top order says, you know what, we'll take up responsibilities and let's play Shardul, Shami, Siraj as well as Thakur. A slightly longer tail, but we'll manage. Let the top 5 take up that responsibility. And Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja could do the finishing. Look, Hardik Pandya, I know he wants to bat in the top order. He wants to bat at number 5. But it'll be unfair to expect Hardik Pandya and Ravindra Jadeja to carry the entire team throughout the World Cup. Right? Hardik Pandya is not Yuvraj Singh. And there is only one Yuvraj Singh.
Look at what Shadab Khan is doing. Right? Those quick 50s, quick 40s. He can start slow, but he will pick up towards the end of the season.
And Hardik Pandya won't let you down when you need that sort of template from him. When you set that sort of template for him and say, you know what, we're batting first, we want to get to 350. Hardik, get us a 17-ball 40. You will see Hardik Pandya do that very consistently. Yeah. You will see Ravindra Jadeja doing that very consistently. But if you're 50 for 4, chasing 280, 290, it will be unfair to expect Hardik and Jadeja to bail you out every time. Not that these guys haven't done that once or twice or thrice. Hardik did that with Pant in England. But can you expect them to do that repeatedly? And Rishabh Pant's absence, now, I know he hasn't had a great time in one-day cricket, but he was evolving as a batter.
Yeah. And an extra left-hand option in the batting order, right?
So, this also doesn't give you any batting in a left hand in the top 6. Unless Ishan plays ahead of KL or they do something about Tilak Verma. So Tilak Verma is another option. Where do you fit him in? I mean, Tilak is going to be an obvious competition for Shreyas Iyer or Surya Kumar Yadav.
Maybe Rohit and Kohli should start doing some glove work. during the
I'll say
alternates.
this again, and I know
Yeah.
I've said this on the podcast a couple of times, and I've seen some outrageous expressions of outrage. But I think the captain at the top is the weakest link as of now.
Yeah.
Without Rohit, that playing 11 starts to look a little stronger.
So you leave out Rohit Sharma
Obviously,
from
you
your
won't
11.
do that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that, in a one day setup. My bet, I mean, hand to heart, for all of you who are watching us on this show, listening to the podcast, please, hand to heart, Ishan Kishan and Shubman Gill would be your first choice openers as of now. Because we tend to go so much with reputation.
Yeah.
If New Zealand were to go by reputation, they would have already named Kane Williamson as part of the playing 11, or Jofra Archer.
Keep in mind, I'm not comparing the two cricketers. New Zealand discarded Martin
Yeah.
Guptill.
Yeah.
A certain Martin Guptill, who's a brilliant fielder, who's a reliable opener, but obviously his form was
He also had a double hundred in one day
double
cricket.
hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would not go that far, Raj. I would still back Rohit Sharma. He has already spoken about getting back to the 2019 mindset.
No, he can say whatever he likes, right? And again, with all due respect to Rohit Sharma, he's one of the greats of the game.
Yes.
There's no arguing that. He's a legend. But you have to deal with current form in sports. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, results matter.
Yeah.
Right? On paper, this is what it looks like, right? Shubman Gill and Ishan would have been your first choice openers. Now look at this debate. If KL Rahul is not available,
Yeah.
you have to play Ishan Kishan. Where else do you play him?
We'll ask the newcomer to take the number 4.
Yeah.
He has to adopt there. He has to adapt to the conditions and the new role.
That is why I'm such a huge fan of that era of cricketers. Saurav Ganguly,
Yes.
captain. He said, नीचे बैट करके बैट्समैन नहीं बनता, क्रिकेटर नहीं बनता. He
Yeah.
pushed MS Dhoni up the order. He sacrificed his batting position
Why are you
to
forgetting
let
MS
Virendra
Dhoni?
Sehwag.
Yeah, of course.
To let Virendra Sehwag bat.
Exactly.
Sachin Tendulkar, down at number 4, no problem. Does that. Exactly, MS Dhoni.
himself.
MS Dhoni.
He could have carried on at number 3.
He could have had an average of 55, 60 by the time. Scored a truckload more of runs.
Yeah.
But he said, fine, I'll do the finisher's job. Let these youngsters bat up the order. And here you have the captain telling the media, हम पागलपंती नहीं करते. Openers will bat where they do. The youngsters can come and do that because we also did that when we were younger. I batted here, I batted there. But somebody probably failed to tell him about Tendulkar, about Ganguly, about Dhoni. So, yeah, it's again, I hope we do win the World Cup. We might win the World Cup if the batsmen pull up.
Yeah.
Because it's ironical, by the way. You're talking about India's weakness being their batting lineup.
Yeah.
Of so many years of, I'm in my 16th year
Maybe the
of
first
covering
World
sports. I've
Cup
never.
built up with this type of narrative, right?
I wasn't born in the 1970s, so I don't know how they would have built up 75 and 79. 83, anyway, India were not favourites, and that is one of Indian sports' most glorious achievements. But somebody has to stand up and say, you know what, I'll do it. Tendulkar did that in South Africa. He addressed the media. And then he took on that responsibility. He ended up as the highest run scorer in the World Cup. Saurav Ganguly was in phenomenal form. Rahul Dravid, Yuvraj Singh, everybody chipped in. So your seniors have to stand up. You can't win World Cups by contemplating and thinking about ifs and buts. Combination decided 18 months ago. I mean, that's what you said before the T20 World Cup last year as well. We know our 15.
What about this one, Raj? Do you really think India are favourites for the World Cup? Because I'm asking this because we're playing at home.
Yeah.
And head coach Rahul Dravid discussed that briefly, that home advantage is no more as significant as it was in the past. I agree to it to an extent. What do you think of it? As in, like, are the subcontinent teams not enjoying enough home advantage these days?
I know where he's coming from, obviously. He said, 2 months of the IPL and you have players from all over the world. But again, two aspects about it. When India played the 2011 World Cup, the IPL was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Now it's many more.
Yeah.
14 years old or 16 16-year-old
16,
IPL.
Yeah.
Players from all over the world come and play here twice for 2 months at a stretch. Your players have played here throughout their careers. They started school cricket in India, club cricket in India, state cricket in India. You've played so many matches for India in India. You can't say that. You always going to have that advantage, and you should have that advantage. You are the one who set that template, and in 2011, before 2011, no home team had won the World Cup, right?
Is it the pressure? 3 home teams
No,
winning
but
the World
then
Cups.
you said there is no pressure. Before a few months back, you said we don't have any pressure of winning the
Now
World Cup.
pressure is welcome.
Now they know that it's going to be associated, and we'll be happy with it. We expect that pressure. So, yeah, I mean,
But you still can't deny the fact that home advantage has reduced. Obviously, home teams have to find ways. They are better equipped to find ways to deal with it. But I don't know, Raj. A player like Butler spending half of his season in India.
simple thing. Butler walks in
Yeah,
to bat, right? Then he sees a couple of early wickets at the other end. England 17 for 2. Who would the crowd be cheering for? Who would the majority of the crowd be cheering for?
yeah.
So what about home advantage there? It's not just about the conditions.
Yes,
When Josh Butler plays in Jaipur
Yes.
and he is hitting, R. Ashwin for sixes, no matter how much you love MS Dhoni and how much you love
Yeah.
your Virat Kohli or your Rohit Sharma or your whoever, you'd back Josh Butler. If Josh Butler is smashing Mohammad Shami for sixes, the Jaipur crowd would still go for Josh Butler. Here, Mohammad Shami gets Josh Butler early. The whole crowd is going to stand up and applaud Shami.
Yeah.
So, there you have your answer. So, it's not just about the conditions. Home advantage is a lot about other aspects as well. Talking about huge expectations from the home crowd, they will have expectations because of the love that we've given our cricketers, because of everything that the cricketers have gotten in this country. You expect that. We respect our sporting icons, and that is why I love, the most important thing that Neeraj Chopra did after winning the javelin gold in Budapest was what? He said, "Thank you, India, for staying up late." He did not disappoint in the country.
Yeah. And
People stayed up till 1
having
o'clock.
I'm being very frank here. After having listened to all these cricket press conferences over the last decade or so, a Neeraj Chopra press conference after that World Championship final was like a whiff of fresh air.
So refreshing, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know whether the humility with which he answered all those questions. I don't know. Are we missing that in cricket? I don't know.
I think so. I think our cricketers have become way too arrogant. A legend of the game has already said that, and when these cricketers are asked about that, they get very upset. But it is true. Neeraj Chopra, I mean, look at what that guy has achieved.
What has he done? An Olympic gold medal. Okay.
Just an Olympic gold medal, just a
World Championship
gold medal.
A
And
diamond trophy.
2 days later, he is also going to the Diamond League.
Yeah.
Look at that level of. So this is where preparation comes into play. Neeraj Chopra, obviously, the Olympic gold didn't just happen. The World Athletics gold didn't just happen. That level of build-up, that level of preparation. And I'll go back to 2011. That level of preparation and that level of build-up was immense and intense. You knew you're playing 11 well before the World Cup. Here, where is your level of preparation? Your players are holidaying, flaunting new hairstyles. Maybe that's part of modern-day sport or modern-day cricket specifically.
Maybe the pressure of commercial deals and all that. I don't
What
know.
commercial deals? Tell me something.
Yeah.
How many millionaires, multi-millionaires do you have in that Argentinian football team? In the Indian team, you also have very, very rich cricketers. But at least a year before the FIFA World Cup last year, we were talking about prospective favourites, and we all spoke of Argentina. Or maybe not all, depending on personal preferences. But I remember I had said Argentina could be, could win the World Cup.
Now we have come to a stage.
Are you going to talk about India? Are you going to be assured that India is going to win the World Cup?
That's what I'm saying. Now we have come to a stage where former cricketers who tend to build up India are themselves saying that India might not be the favourites. A few of them have said it.
Will they even reach the semi-finals? Some of,
Yeah.
I have been following cricket Twitter quite a bit, or X. And Indian fans, passionate Indian fans, are worried whether the team will even reach the last 4. So therein lies your answer. I mean, you look at England, you look at Australia, you look at India, and maybe Pakistan or South Africa. That would be a prospective top 4.
Yeah.
But can you count on New Zealand in any world event? You can't.
Yes.
Um,
Afghanistan might be a dark horse in these conditions. I don't know. They can pull it off. As in,
India playing Afghanistan in Delhi.
yeah. There'll be no easy matches. That's what I'm coming here to say. Yeah.
In a round robin league, there are no easy matches.
Yeah.
Even against Bangladesh. I mean, you lost that series to Bangladesh.
Yeah. And they will be high on confidence.
They've defeated you in World Cups before.
Yeah.
2007, long time back. But these
2015, the controversial no ball. I don't know. Yeah.
No, that was just
Yeah. Yeah. I'm talking on behalf of one of my colleagues.
Bangladesh fans. But it is true. You look at this build-up.
Yeah.
And you'd start to get a little worried and wonder, well,
Like you said, Raj, we all want them to do, we all want the team to do well.
Yeah.
But if you look at the build-up, you get these feelings. You are not very confident of what is going to happen. I don't know.
It brings us back to the same question we asked last week. It brings us back to the question we started off with. Why this desperation over KL Rahul? Why this deep-rooted anxiety to get him fit somehow? It's not like he was scoring hundreds for fun before that injury and, he's recovered and he's obviously played a few matches here and there and he's looking in good touch again. No, he hasn't. If you were that confident, you should have sent him to Ireland to at least go out and hold a cricket bat or maybe just stay on the field for 20 overs. That wasn't done.
Why are you not taking him to Sri Lanka? Will he be named in the World Cup squad or not? These are big questions now, right?
Now, I mean, on what ground do you now name him in the World Cup side?
The
big question
army,
is-
the Sanju Samson army on social media. will
On
erupt,
what
I'm telling
ground
you.
will you select KL Rahul for the World Cup? Anyway, he would have just played that one match, right?
Yeah.
Against Pakistan before the World Cup squad would have been announced. Now, it is a
Now,
question.
there is
legit
another question I wanted to ask you, Raj. You picked Tilak Verma in the squad of 17 for Asia Cup. Now, if you don't play him in the first 2 matches and you want to give match practice to a returning KL Rahul, provided he comes back for the Super 4 stages and provided India reach the Super 4 stages, when will Tilak Verma get an opportunity? Will you just take him with the squad to Asia Cup and not name him in the World Cup squad? What are your plans around that? You are not going to give KL Rahul those 2 matches. And going by the looks of it, Tilak Verma might not play those 2 matches against Pakistan and Nepal. And Rahul Dravid said, we expect KL Rahul to be back for the Super 4 stages. If that is the case, if KL Rahul needs match practice in the Super 4 stages, when will Tilak Verma get an opportunity? How will you consider his form? He has not played an ODI. So what is his role going to be?
The Indian team management has put itself on a very sticky wicket with 3 selections. One is Tilak Verma, KL Rahul, and the other is Akshar Patel. To an extent, also Surya Kumar Yadav.
Yes.
I'll sum up
According
all.
to you, Rohit Sharma also. Is that?
No, I mean, that's
Yeah,
not what I
I
said.
got
What I'm
the
saying
point.
is that
I
he's
got
the
the
weakest
point.
link in the top order,
Yeah,
for
I got
sure.
the point. Of course, I got the point.
Right?
Yeah.
But the point is, with Tilak Verma, again, we discussed that last week.
Yeah.
He seemed to be an 11th hour selection just because he got some runs in the West Indies and he suddenly said, oh, okay, here's a top order who can roll his arm over and who wouldn't say no to 2 or 3 overs in case one of the other bowlers turns out to be expensive. So the captain has some sort of option. Fact check, Tilak Verma is not even a regular bowler in domestic cricket.
Yeah.
KL Rahul, injury prone,
Yeah.
no proven match fitness, no proven match form.
Yeah.
You name him.
A mistake last year also. Similar mistake.
Similar mistake in the T20 World Cup,
Yeah.
and you've gone ahead and done that again.
Yeah.
Anyway, and what did the chief selector say? That the World Cup squad will be based on these players.
Yes.
And what they were waiting for Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul. Then the chief selector says KL Rahul has a niggle. 8 days later, the coach says he's not going to travel to Sri Lanka, won't be available for the first 2 matches. Surya Kumar Yadav. Now, if this is your batting lineup, tell me where does Surya Kumar Yadav figure?
Exactly. Will you have him in the...
So why Surya Kumar Yadav?
Why
Akshar
Tilak
Patel.
Verma? Yeah.
Because you said Chahal and Kuldeep. I'm not saying the selector said that, but there's an argument that, why would you have 2 wrist spinners? Pakistan have 2 wrist spinners.
Chief selector said that. We
yeah,
can't pick an extra wrist spinner. 2 wrist spinners in the squad.
But you can have 2 left-arm spinners.
Yes. Because one can bat and your top order can't bat.
Again, Akshar Patel's one-day credentials. Of late, he scored a couple of half centuries.
Yeah.
No arguing about Ravindra Jadeja. There's no doubting that about Ravindra Jadeja's spot in that team. But Akshar Patel.
But if you play them in the 11 together, who will be the attacking
That
spinner
is the problem.
in the middle
Now,
overs?
that is where this Indian team management has landed itself in a
In
bit
20s?
of a spot.
Yes.
How often are you going to play Tilak Verma? Who will he play instead of? So how are you going to play Tilak Verma in the top 5 if you're playing Rohit, Shubman, Virat, Ishan?
Yeah.
So does Tilak Verma get ahead of Shreyas Iyer? Or will you be bold enough and say, you know what? We'll play a bowler less. Let's get Tilak Verma in at number 6, 7. This doesn't make sense to me at all.
Is Shreyas Iyer ready to take up the number 5 spot for the Pakistan game? Is he fit? As in, I don't know. He has been past fit.
Shreyas Iyer does not play the first match.
Then you can bring in Tilak Verma. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you can bring in whoever you like, but then you'll have to ask some more serious questions of this Indian team management. Then will Shreyas Iyer be also part of the World Cup squad? KL Rahul is not going to be fit in time for the first 2 matches of the Asia Cup, and he will most likely be part of the World Cup squad there.
One qualm I have is that this is not a bilateral series where you take a youngster, ask him to spend time with the squad and get the experience.
No.
You know, at the World Cup and Asia Cup, you can't ask a youngster to carry only drinks. You have to give him opportunities if you're picking him.
Akshay, KL Rahul is not going to play the first couple of matches.
Yes.
I'll be very interested to see how Tilak Verma, Surya Kumar Yadav and Akshar Patel are slotted in to the playing 11 over the course of the 2
And
weeks.
in the Super
of
Fours,
the
there
Asia
are
Cup.
not going to be any easy matches.
No.
Unless and until the Indian team has decided that we'll use Asia Cup for further experimentation.
The only match you can take for granted would be Nepal, perhaps.
yes.
You won't take that chance against Pakistan. You won't do that against Afghanistan. And you wouldn't want to do that against Bangladesh and definitely not Sri Lanka.
Over the other 2 teams are from that other group.
Exactly. So, think about
Yeah.
these 4 players I just mentioned. KL Rahul, we talked about him throughout our entire episode last week. Shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And look at where this has landed now. Tilak Verma, how are you going to slot him in? We discussed that.
And maybe he's gone there to get an experience of the dressing room.
No, but the chief selector also said that if he's impressive, he'll be pulled out from the Asian Games squad and drafted into the World Cup squad straight up. Has this ever happened with any Indian team? I'm just wondering. You look at one player 4 weeks before the World Cup and you say, you know what, this is it.
Even a Vijay Shankar selection which was criticized, Vijay Shankar had numbers.
Yeah.
Vijay Shankar was not a pushover.
And then he came on against
anything.
Pakistan and he picked a
Yes,
couple of wickets,
yes.
right? So
That is the only recent memory I can think of. I'm not saying that was a bad call. It was a much talked about call, but Vijay Shankar had the numbers. I don't know whether to warrant a place in the World Cup, but to even merit a debate.
yeah.
I don't know whether Tilak Verma, people are saying that his temperament, we have seen that his temperament is good in the IPL and all that. But many other young cricketers have also shown such temperaments.
Not everybody is cut out to play for India. But I hope, this is going to be a very interesting build-up. India, of course, start the campaign against Pakistan on the 2nd of September. India will announce their World Cup squad on the 3rd of September. We'll bring all of that back to you on the Sledging Room for sure. We'll be able to discuss and analyze a lot of that. But now, KL Rahul selection should be a question mark for the World Cup. That should be that ringing question mark over KL Rahul.
In the past also, Raj, we have made those last-minute changes to our World Cup squads, but those have been forced changes. But if you don't name KL Rahul now and name KL Rahul later, or if you name KL Rahul now and don't name later, pull him out later, this is not good optics before the World Cup.
These are already not good optics. And imagine the kind of pressure you've also put KL Rahul under.
Exactly.
Coming in, out, in, out.
That's exactly what the England coach said about Jofra Archer. We don't want to put so much pressure on himself. On him, the player, him.
But again, we don't even know for sure whether KL Rahul will join the Indian team at any point. As of now, he's not going to play the first 2 matches of the Asia Cup.
He's going to play simulation games at the end.
Not that they haven't already. But before we go, by the way, Rishabh Pant came in to greet his India teammates in Allur.
Why not? Let me not do that. Okay. Yeah. Good sign. Ahead of next year's England test tour.
Yeah, we surely hope, really hope Rishabh Pant recovers quickly. I saw this video of him trying to work out on an exercise bicycle. Very, very encouraging signs. And kudos to Rishabh Pant for defying the odds and
Even
doing what
Jack
he has
Leach
been.
would be happy seeing Rishabh Pant's recovery, knowing that he has to bowl
No,
at him
absolutely.
again.
You know, and Rishabh Pant is integral, key to the Indian Test team. And you saw it made a huge difference when Rishabh Pant was not around in the Test team for the 5 Test matches so far, the 4 in the Border Gavaskar Trophy and the WTC final. But that's all that we have for this week. But it's like I said, it's been an interesting build up to the World Cup. We are looking at the Asia Cup now, and maybe just over 1 month for the 2023 ODI World Cup to start. Of course, there's the Asian Games in between as well. So there's plenty of action lined up throughout the next 2.5 months, next 3 months. That's all we're going to talk about on the Sledging Room. The Asia Cup, the World Cup, Indian cricket also at the Asian Games. So there will be plenty to talk about. Hopefully, not ranting and celebrating, right? We want to do that. We want
I
to
hope
see.
we have provided that opportunity.
Yes, we want to see India beat Pakistan on the 2nd of September and, just doff our hats off to these boys and say that, okay, you know what, they've proven the critics wrong, not detractors. We're passionate fans of the Indian cricket team and we want to see that. But again, hats off to Neeraj Chopra for that historic gold. And if you are consuming this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, etc., please rate us and leave your comments, and also on YouTube. You can always do that. Look at the two of us. Send in your comments and tell us what you think of the Indian team selection for the Asia Cup and around the KL Rahul conundrum. That's very, very important. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a cracking week ahead, and we'll see you in exactly 7 days from now. Thank you. You are on India Today Podcasts, and you are in the Sledging Room.